Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a little two-player card game called Famiglia. Famiglia is a game designed by Friedemann Friese, published by Rio Grande Games, 2 players only, and it plays in, 30 minutes, depending on how fast you're playing. It's not going to go on forever because it's just a 2-player game. And effectively what you're doing in this game, I don't know, does it even have a theme? Let's see if it has a theme. 2 mafia bosses try to recruit the most and also best members of their gangs. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So basically what this is a deck building game. You're going to be starting out with, everybody's going to have 4 zeros, and you're trying to use those cards to recruit cards that have higher values and bigger points. That's it. And the way you're going to do that is by using cards in your hand that have a lower value to get a higher value, and playing cards down to manipulate the values of cards in a row. Now that may sound like, what? So I agree with you. Let's just go out on the table. Check it out.
Come on, play the game.
All right, so here's a game of Famiglia. I'm not sure how you say that, but that right there. All set up for 2 players, and it's only 2 players, so this is the setup every time. You're going to give each player a starting deck, which will have a 1 and a 2, and in that starting deck, there are going to be 4 zero cards of each of the colors. There's 4 colors, and their suits and their families, like mobster families. So we have La Famiglia, the Mercenaries, the Brutes, and the Accountants. All right, so that's what they are. But I'm just, from now on, going to call them red, green, yellow, and blue. But yeah, this is the most powerful family. They're worth more points than everybody else. But every family except red has a special ability, so that's why they're worth more points. All right, so everybody gets that. Then you're going to shuffle the rest of the cards, and you are going to flip 6 of them face up on the table, which I've done here. All right, and now you're ready to play. So on your turn, you're allowed to. What you're trying to do is it's kind of a deck building game. You're trying to get cards from the table into your hand to score points, and then you're going to have to play them down in front of you to use their abilities and get new cards. But if a card is in your hand or in front of you, you get the points. So you're just trying to get more point cards than your opponent before the game runs out, which is 2 times through the deck. All right, so let's go ahead and start. So on your turn, I'm going to let 1 go first. On your turn, you're going to be able to play a blue card if you want to, a yellow card if you want to, and then you're going to be able to possibly discard some cards to get some new cards and then take a card. All right, that's what you're going to do. Now, zeros don't have any special abilities, so I'm not going to play any cards right now. So all I'm going to do is take a card. Now, the way you take a card is you can always take a 0 for free, put it in your hand. Or you can take, say there was a 1 out here and I had 2 zeros. So say there was a 1 green out there and I had 2 zeros. I can spend 2 cards of value less than the card that I'm trying to purchase. One of them stays out in front of me, 1 goes back in my hand, and I would take the other 0 and put it in my hand and make sure I grab the right card. Nope. All right, so right now we can't do that, so I'm just going to basically take a 0, and I think I'm going to take the green 0. Just goes into my hand, and my turn is done. Bring these closer together, and then this player, similar thing. They have the starting hand of zeros, and they're going to take a 0 blue. All right, back to me. I'm going to take a 0 blue. Now, this player has another decision to make. They can't take any cards because they have 2 blue zeros. There's no blue 1, so they can't take any cards. So what they're allowed to do is they can discard one of these cards, which we'll do. They'll discard the red, and then they can flip that many cards to try to get a 0 or a card that they can take. But if they flip a 0, they can't do this anymore. But they can keep doing this action until they get a 0. So they have a 1, and you can't take these anymore. They can only take from the cards, the new ones that are flipped. 2, 3, and I still don't think they can take anything. So we'll discard this 3 here. Do 3 more. So we'll do a 3 blue, a 1 blue, which I think they can take, and a 4 blue. All right, so they can't take that 3 green, but they can take anything else. I think they can take that 1 blue. Yes, they have 2 0 blues. So they play these down. They keep one of them on the table. One then goes back in their hand along with the card that they're capturing. They spent two blue zeros to take a blue 1, and that's their turn. And now they have a point, 2 points technically, because you start with the 1 point from the 0 red. All right, so now my turn. Do I have 2 cards that can take anything? Yes, I have 2 green zeros, so I'll take this one, put these back in my hand, and leave this one out on the table. And done. All right. Back to this player. Dang. I'm going to discard this 4 here. And they're going to take 4 cards, so they can't take any of these. So 1, 2, 3. Slide these down. 4. Okay, and I still can't take any. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to play this accountant. Now, when you play an accountant, their ability is I can swap a card on the table with a card from my hand, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to swap 1 or less cards with that one. So I want that 0, and I'm going to put this 0 down. So I pick this one up, and I swap it with a card from my hand. So you're basically playing 2 cards to be able to get a card. But now I can take this 1 here because I have 2 blues, 2 zeros. I'll take this 1, leave a blue down. These go back in my hand. All right, now I like to just stack them up like this so it takes up less room here on the table. And that is my turn. All right, back to this player. Now all these can get pushed together. Can I take anything good? Yes. I'm going to take this 1 red, and the way I do that is I play a 0. And I'm going to play my green 1. A green 1, there's a green special ability is they can help capture cards that are less than the number on the card. So if it was a 4, it could be a 3, 2, a 1, or a 0. But in this case, it's a 1, so it's just a 0. But now I have 2 red zeros because this is a wild, and I can capture this. I'll leave the red 0 down on the table, put the wild back in my hand along with the 1, and good to go. All right, back to this player. I need to see what they have again. Man, I have no good cards. All right, I'm going to burn this 4. I'm going to try to get some better cards, so I can't take any of those. 1, 2, 3. I'll take the 0 because that's all I can take. So I add the 0 to my hand, and I'm done. All right, now it's back to me. I am going to capture that card with a 0 yellow and a 1 green, which is functioning as a 0 yellow, and I'll take this brute. I'll leave the 0 down on the table, and the 1 goes in my hand along with the card that I snagged. All right, back to this player. Ugh, yuck. All right, I'm going to burn this 3 here. And I'm going to try to get some cards I can take. 1, 2, 2. I cannot. Let's burn this 2. 1, 2, 3. And I can take, I'll take this. I'm actually going to take this 1. So I can spend 2 zeros. 1 goes back in my hand along with this 1, and I'm good. A lot of cards. It can get a little bit busy here, but hopefully you can see all that pretty well. All right, back to me. Now I have the world as my oyster right now. I'm going to spend 2 blue zeros. I'm going to capture this guy. Recruit him, I guess. I don't know what the actual term is, but we're going to recruit him. Put the 1 0 down, 1 0 back in my hand. Done. Back to this player. And they are going to take the 0 yellow, and they're going to be done. Okay, and back to me. Oh, dang. All right, so I'm going to use the brute. Now, here's how the brutes work. They're going to punch somebody down 1 level. I'm going to punch this guy down to a 1, and here's why I'm going to do that. No, just kidding. I'm going to punch this guy down to a 1. All right, so I'll punch that guy down. Now I can play a 0 plus this 0. This is a 1, and I can capture this card. And I'll put this back in my hand and play the 0. All right, done. Back to the other player. They can't punch anybody. But they're going to play 2 zeros, put 1 back in their hand, and they're going to capture this one. All right, and then put these cards on there so we can have some room. Back to me. Let's see. I want to burn some cards. So I'm going to burn this 3 here, and I'm going to flip 3 new cards. 1, 2, 3. All right, and I'm going to take this 0. Feels good. All right, back to this player. They are going to, they have nothing good really, but I'm going to punch, play my brute. I'm going to punch this one, make it a 0, and take it. All right, done. Oh, I had another card. All right, done. Back to me. Dang, this stinks. I'm going to burn this card. I'm going to try to get some cards that I want. 1, 2, 3. And I will spend these 2 zeros to take this 1. All right, done. And that's how the game's going to keep playing. You're going to keep doing that until the deck runs out once. Then there's a rule change. So normally you can burn cards, as many cards as you want, to the discard pile till you can get a card that you can take or you want. Once you've gone through the deck once, you can only burn cards 1 time, and then instead of discarding them, they go to the bottom, and then if you can't take a card, you just have to pass. And then if that happens and both players have to pass, the game would be over, and you would add up all your points. But normally, the deck runs out. Once all the cards are out on the table and the deck is gone, the game's over. You add up all your points. Whoever has the most points is the winner. So it'd be points on the table and points in your hand. So that's why you're trying to get these big dogs here. All the cards go to the 4. They go 0 to 4. 4s are the highest points, then 3, then 2, then 1. And zeros aren't worth any points except for the reds. And then that's it. That is how you play Famiglia. Let's go up the top. See what we think about it.
What do you think, son? What do you think?
All right, well, that was Famiglia, or Famiglia. I'm not sure how you say it. I'm going to say Famiglia because I think that's what it is. So let's talk about the components. The components are just this deck of cards. They're a weird shape. They're not standard deck of cards. They're kind of long and thin. And every mobster, I believe, is different. This is the starting ones for hand number 1. And then, you know, there's a 3 here, different mobster, 4 different families, all that. So it's just cards. Every art picture is different, I believe. And that's it. And a rule book that is weird and really long that I don't necessarily love, but it's just front and back. So yeah, components are fine. Cards are good quality, and they haven't messed up yet, so I appreciate that. Now let's talk about the gameplay. So this game is basically kind of a deck building game of sorts. What that means is you start out with a crappy hand of cards or some starting cards. The cards are just not that good, and you're trying to use those cards to acquire better cards into your hand, into your play area, into your world to get better points. That's what this game does. And effectively, this one boils it down to even a simpler mechanism, because you're either going to play a card to the table to manipulate a value of a card in front of you and then play a couple cards to take that card, or you're just going to take a card. That's it. It's a super simple thing, and you score all the cards that are in your hand and in front of you. So it doesn't matter where they are when you get them, you just need to get them. The mobsters need to be your friend, and you score points. So you're just trying to get the high value cards before your opponent. Maybe mess them over a little bit as best as you can. There's not a ton of player interaction here, but if you can see them storing up for something and they're getting ready to go, maybe take what they would want, all that kind of thing, just score points first. That's it. So yeah, I'm not going to belabor this because that's the game. 60 cards. But I enjoy it. It's fun. It's not my favorite 2-player game in the world, but it is enjoyable. It's different. It doesn't feel like a lot of the other 2-player games that are tug of wars. This one feels a little bit different. Freedom and Freeze kind of marches to his own drummer, so it's no surprise that this feels different. So Yeah, I like it. It's not, again, not going to set the world on fire, but if you can find it and you like interesting little card games and you want games for 2 players, I would say check it out. So I'm going to give this a BGM and set the seal. This is going to get a 7 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 3.5 out of 5 wrenches on an arbitrary wrench scale that means absolutely nothing, but we like to give it the games that we enjoy. And that's what I'm going to do. So that is Famiglia from Rio Grande Games. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.